Okay, we're gonna get hella real in this video because this is really what's going on in our collective and in the world, and we can't ignore it any longer. And I recently just did a live class this morning where one of my clients actually came out and stated this, and I just knew this was a perfect time to do a video like this. And even since I'm going more on my shamanic journey and actually doing deeper levels of healing and not tapping into my gifts a lot more, I'm currently reading this book by Shaman Durek, Spirit Hacking, and it was just like confirmation that I have to do this video talking about polarity, what makes up energy, and understanding polarity and how it's intertwined with the feminine and masculine energy. And here's the thing, you guys, I'm not talking about gender. I'm not talking about men, and I'm not talking about women. Yes, it does intertwine with those very essence, but honestly, we have to be real. We have feminine and masculine energy within all of us and within the entire elements of this entire universe. And I want to discuss with you today, helping you understand polarity, because when you understand polarity, you understand energy a lot better. And when you actually understand how this polarity is within you and how it's affecting you and the world and other people, then you will finally understand why the world is the way that it is, and why you are the way that you are. What is gooch, beautiful beings? Welcome back, AwakenOnes, on another episode on Embracing the Sensuous series with your homegirl, Brittany Fontanes. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I am a intuitive shaman healer. I'm a psychic tarot reader. I speak about spiritual development. I talk about emotional awareness, and I do guided readings for your zodiac sign, and I talk about things I feel need to be talked about because our divine right to know more than what we've been told. And I assist people on their journey to understand deeper levels of healing and understanding their emotions and how to master not just the reality, but understanding how to master themselves and feeling whole and complete upon their journey. And if you want to know any of my business inquiries, all that information is down in the description box below. But you guys, let's get into this because I'm really excited to talk about this. And I recently actually talked about this a little bit in one of my recent videos called Ego, Edging God Out. And I feel that if you haven't watched that video, go watch that after this. I'll actually leave it at the end of this video because it intertwines what we're going to talk about today, and that is polarity. Now, what is polarity? Polarity is understanding the objections behind opposing energies. So, meaning that we have feminine energy and we have masculine energy. And these energies make up the entire essence of this universe. And I'm going to blow your mind by a lot of things I have learned upon my experience that is going to help you understand through all this confusion, through all this information we've been given. You're finally getting clarity on what makes up the world today and why. So, let's start out with understanding, since we're masculine and feminine energy, understand that the feminine is the left side and the masculine is the right side. So the feminine holds a lot about the past and the masculine holds a lot about the future. And what's crazy is a lot of people think that these two energies are within gender, and it has nothing to do with the changeability of life. Feminine and masculine reside within the entire freaking universe, you guys. This is the crazy thing that a lot of us are not coherent about because we haven't been taught this. But this is why this video is created today, because I'm going to be channeling through helping you understand polarity. So now that you know that we have feminine masculine energy within us, how does this make up the entire universe? Well, the beginning of time in the Bible, it says only alpha. And what is alpha? It's mostly in the masculine energy. But the thing is, we have forgotten there is a feminine energy, which is the omega. Yeah, I know this sounds crazy. I know religion has kind of brainwashed us into believing that alpha and omega only resides in the masculine energy. This is why the cross actually only shows the penetration, meaning actual the penis, which holds only the men, only the masculine energy, which is logical, which is analytical, which is always rushing, which is always planning, which is always constructing. And because of this, we believe we're rooted in just masculine energy. This is why even feminines today suppress their intuition and suppress how they truly feel. And even in men, they suppress their feminine energy because they don't know how to be vulnerable, and they think feeling is like inadequate. It's not even a part of the journey, but if it exists, then it is part of the journey. But the reason why we're so rooted in the masculine energy is because this is what we think made up life. But I'm here to explain to you, the masculine energy is not the only thing that made up life. If anything, let's be real, the masculine energy does not create life. It maintains it, it constructs it. The feminine is what creates life. That's why in the Egyptian times, a lot of Isis, I love Isis because she's one of my actual spirit guides. She assists me a lot in helping me tap into my feminine energy and actually going within the depths of my own darkness to understand and unravel my internal gifts and not suppress my intuition and my truth. So in Egyptian times, they understood how both of these polarities and these energies make up the entire essence of the universe. And not only that, but in relationships and within ourselves. And this is why men were honored as kings and women were honored as queens. When kings are gods and then the queens are goddesses, because they understand the divinity that lies within each and every person and how it actually intertwines with the entire universe. But in Egyptian times, this is the actual symbol that they represent. It's called the Unk Symbol. The reason why there's a loop is because it represents the womb. It represents the feminine energy that creates life. And this is why, like, you know, when a woman actually puts a baby upon this earth, it hurts because she's creating life. But the reason why the masculine has to be there, because he has to help construct that life, has to help build that life, to be logical, why the feminine is intuitive, why emotional. This is why a lot of people are seeking nurturing from one another, is because they lost touch with their feminine, because the feminine has been so suppressed, because we believe it doesn't make up life. But since the Unk represents the womb, underneath the Unk represents the actual assistance of creating life, which is the masculine energy. And so this symbol represents life in itself, but we have intertwined and kind of manipulated that into believing the masculine energy only rules. Because here's the thing, when we're rooted in the masculine, this is why there's so much toxic masculinity. This is why men exude power from women and always try to control them. When men, you are actually here to uplift the woman. Because here's the thing, men are here to help rule because they know how to construct, but women actually plan it out and actually is intuitive in what is best and clear to create that plan. And this is why when men, a lot of men or a lot of masculines do get, you know, up there, do make it, they forget about the plan. They forget about the people who help them there. It's because we're so rooted in the toxic masculine energy that we're always in a rush to go, 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 and think it's only about self when really it's about connection. The feminine energy is all about life because she helps connect. And this is why. And she's so giving. The feminine is so giving. You know, you guys, I like women. And I used to be so rooted in my masculine energy to the point I would sabotage and push women away and control them so much. And I had to observe the fact that I lacked nurturing from my own mother. So I had to be rooted in my masculine energy because I had to be responsible all the time and take control over my life to the point I forgot how to surrender and how to trust and how to love and how to connect. And I had to recognize that I'm not just a masculine energy. I have a feminine energy within myself. And the more I started to recognize that, I started to be open to the entire universe. And this is how the masculine energy and the feminine energy not only reside within us and not just in gender, but the entire universe. Mother Earth is Gaia, feminine energy, always, always giving. This is why back in times, during village times, the woman who had to go out, like, that's that movie, El Chanto, that new Disney movie, all about the Hispanic culture. Oh my God, great animation, such a great movie. El Canto, something like that, such a great movie, where her husband died and she had to actually take the whole village and create a whole new life for them, to the point she got so rooted in taking control that she forgot to connect with her family, and everyone started to resent her because of that. And that's why, but she was so giving. She created a new life. She made sure everyone was happy, everyone was loving, everyone was living in a magical place. That is how the feminine energy is. She's always giving, and that's how Mother Gaia is. We got trees, we got leaves, we got rain, we got sun, we got this, we got the moon, we got the sun, we got the stars, we got the insects, we got the animals, we got our furniture, we got all of these things because Mother Gaia is so giving. And we have to remember this because we've been taught to suppress that vulnerable side that expresses to us what makes us human. And what makes us human is feeling, it's connecting, it's being here with one another, it's nurturing, it's giving, it's loving, it's forgiving. I think I said forgiving twice. Someone needed to hear that. So, but what does the masculine do? It helps construct growth and building. It helps being able to lead. So I want to help you guys understand, how can you bring those polarities into alignment within yourself? Now I'm going to go for the men first. Men, if you always are in relationships where you're always consistently controlling, then what you have to do is lower your control mechanisms and recognize that you don't always have to take control in a way where you think you know what's best. The best way to lead the feminine energy is by being constructive. Like, for example, if you want to go out to eat and you're always consistently asking the woman and you seem unsure of that, she's going to feel a lack of instability and unsureness to the point she's probably not going to trust you, because it means you don't trust yourself. So, for example, if a woman doesn't know what she wants to eat, be the one to take the lead. Say, you know what? Why don't you wear this nice dress I bought you? I'm going to take you out to this nice restaurant. I'm going to buy you these roses and we're going to have a great time and I want you to enjoy yourself. That's the way to lead. That's the way to lead. Now, for businessmen, you know, if you're working with your wife, if you're working with a woman and you're unsure of what next steps to take, she may have the idea, the creative idea. How will you construct that idea? Are you going to take it into consideration, or are you going to think you know what's best? This is how you start to understand the disalignment of the polarity and how to bring it back into alignment. So that's for men. Now for women, I want you to understand. Okay, they told me to go back to the men. Men, some of you can be controlled by women. That's what the lack of instability comes from. You have to be aware of what part of you has lost trust within yourself and your masculine energy to take the lead. Because I have a tendency to attract a lot of feminine men to the point they always rely on me to take the lead, and I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? like what are you doing? Like, are you not gonna come up with ideas? And I'm not gonna lie, it made me a little bored. It made me really bored because they were sweet, but at the same time they weren't grounded and trusting in themselves. So men, you gotta find a way to ground yourself and to trust that you can take the lead. Now, women, we could get so caught up in being in our masculine energy that we even suppress our own emotions and we suppress how we truly feel, to the point that we think being vulnerable leads to abandonment, leads to people thinking that we're too much, leads to thinking that, you know, I have to hide how I truly feel because if I express it, I won't be loved. And we're not here for that anymore. This is why the world is changing, and this is why times are changing, because we're finally understanding what energy is all about. And women, in order for you to help you understand that you have the right to be who you are, meaning that being who you are, you're already magnetic, so you can attract on instant. But the reason why we don't allow ourselves to be in that state of surrenderance and allowance is because we're always trying to control. And the more we try to control, the more we become avoidant and we sabotage and we don't make things happen, to the point that we even forget our own power and abandon ourselves for others and for the masculine energy. So women, the best way to bring your polarity into alignment is by first understanding what makes you believe you're not allowed to express your emotions and be vulnerable. Because I want you guys to understand, I want you guys to really look at this. I will never forget, I was listening to this comedian, and he said these two things to understand masculine and feminine energy. And he was like, men's brains are like boxes, and when they pick a box, within that box, that's all they talk about. They don't talk about any other box. Unless they're going to talk about another topic, they put that box back in there, and then they take another box. And that's all they talk about, is what's in that box. Very logical. Now, women's brains are like wires, bundled up together. And when one circuit is on, and it taps another circuit, all the circuits go. Like going ballistic. But the best way I can explain this is that there's a frame. Men are the frame. And women are the crayon that colors within the frame and on the outside of the frame. Because she's wild, she can't be tamed. As in, the masculine is here to try to bring stability in. So women, for you gotta allow yourself to surrender. Allow yourself to be you. Allow yourself to express what makes you you. Even if that means people don't understand. Because who you are is very intuitive, and intuition and being intuitive makes you, it allows you to be flexible, it allows you to be vulnerable, it allows you to be open. So please understand that. That's the way to bring your polarity back into alignment, is by recognizing that you are allowed to surrender. You are allowed to trust. You are allowed to give. You are allowed to be you and unattained. I keep hearing that word, unattainable. It's okay to be unattainable, you know? A lot of women don't want to see their worth because they think they're too much. Here's the thing. In Egyptian times, the reason why women were goddesses is because they were the nurturing that the gods needed, that the men needed. And then men were the safety to that feminine. You see what I'm saying? So, oh my God, squeeze me. I gotta get rid of that energy. So how can you bring these polarities into alignment? And how you can bring it to alignment into yourself, into your relationships, and even just how you show up in the world, is by understanding that. I love how, oh my God, Mother Earth explains it all. Because the sun is the masculine, always shining bright. And the sun, if you realize, your sun sign is actually representing your ego, what you express to the physical. But the moon expresses the feminine energy, what you hide within the surface, which is your truth. So in a way, the alpha and the omega, all these energies, the reason why this makes up energy and how to understand it within you is by realizing that you're connected to absolutely everything. You are meant to be emotional, and you're meant to be mental. You are meant to experience life through the ebbs and flow, and you're meant to create life. You're meant to construct it. You're meant to build it. You're meant to feel it. You're meant to be in it. So the way to actually bring polarity into alignment and understand energy is by realizing that you make up the entire universe. You make up why the sun is shining bright. You make up why Mother Gaia is always giving. You make up all this energies. How can you intertwine with them? Is by realizing that, you know, we all have these energies within us. We all fucking do. Like, for example, my friend, when we did that live class today, I love how she explained it. She was watching Love is Blind, some show like that, and there was an episode where she said, like, this woman was a badass to the point, like, in the beginning she wasn't allowing herself to express her vulnerability because she was abandoning herself, because men always want to take the lead and always want to be the one in rulership, to the point that she thought she didn't have the right to express herself. But later on she started to realize, I'm guessing, like, if you're gonna ask someone to marry you, you gotta really state what you need. You gotta really state what you need and be vulnerable and express that. So she was actually in her toxic feminine, where she's always was abandoning herself, and she was in her toxic masculinity, was not feeling stable and safe within herself. And all of a sudden, when we got later into the episode, my friend was explaining how when she was actually wanting to marry this guy, she had to get clear. And that's when she stepped into her masculine energy and stepped into her feminine energy in a way where, listen, I know what I'll bring to the table and give to you, but I don't think you'll be able to give that to me. You see how real that shit is? She was able to step in her masculine energy in a healthy way by realizing I could take initiative. But she stepped in her feminine energy and realizing I know my worth and I know what I deserve and the right to do so. That's the way you could bring your polarities into. And just know, man, you could do the exact same thing. You gotta know your worth, you gotta know your truth, but you gotta be humble about it. So that's the way to bring these polarities into alignment, is by realizing you need to feel, but you also need to be grounded. You can take initiative, but it's okay to surrender. And when you realize these energies, you guys, you start to realize, damn, how this affects politics, how this affects religion, how it affects relationship, how it affects friendships, how it affects our belief systems. So at the end of the day, you guys, understand that we both have feminine and masculine energy within us. Yes, we do hold one energy more than the other, but at the same time, We all make up the energy of this world. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today on polarity and understanding the masculine and feminine energy, and understanding that when we actually understand these energies, we will understand what needs to change within this collective and within this world. We've been ruled too much by the toxic masculinity, and we're starving for the feminine energy. And it has nothing to do with women. It has everything to do with seeing the beauty and the love of everything, and recognizing, yes, we have built this, but we don't need to keep building in the way that we have been, because we've forgotten that we're building on a false foundation that is not lovable. So I want to explain actually one story from the book. And it's funny, when I read it, I was like, I feel like I read this before. So I know I need to share this. So in the book, the way to understand feminine energy and masculine energy on a very simplistic level is that men, the masculine energy is the type to dissect, to be analytical, logical. What makes up this? What makes up that? So a little boy will see a butterfly and probably take the butterfly and doesn't care if it makes it bleed, doesn't care if ripping the wings off and dissecting the stomach. It does not care, because it's so interested in what makes up this butterfly. It's very logical, very analytical, very constructive. But the feminine energy is all about seeing the butterfly and not needing to try to discover what makes it a butterfly. It admires it, it loves it, it cherishes it, it honors its existence the way she honors her existence. So she admires the beauty of what makes up this butterfly in this life. Do you see now how different these polarities are, but how important they are? And how the masculine actually helps build and constructs things, but it's not what creates life. We have to remember the beauty and the love and the everything. And here's another thing I want to share with y'all. This is going to blow some people's mind. I actually blew my mom's own mind to the point she got pissed at me when I said this, because I don't shun people who aren't religious. She's very religious, but there was this time where I've been studying a lot about the Bible, about Yeshua, which people consider Jesus. And a lot of people thought Jesus did it all on his own. But a lot of people don't recognize that there was a woman by his side that actually helped him tap into his gift. And she was called Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was the divine feminine to the divine masculine of Yeshua. Both of them actually understood their purpose and understood the healing. That's why they were both able to tap in to the divine power that made them who they are. And this is why even in the Bible, they said Mary Magdalene found Jesus when he was actually in the cave and came back to life. And who is Mary Magdalene? People called her the hoe in the Bible, when really she was the lover, the twin flame of Yeshua. And so a lot of people don't understand that the feminine energy has been existing all along. That's why in the beginning of times, Lilith was actually the first woman created for Adam before Eve came. And Lilith was like, I'm not going to be controlled. I don't want to be controlled. The feminine energy can't be tamed. So this is why they manipulated you into believing that Eve was submissive and came from Adam, and therefore she had to obey them. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. That's why when people say the alpha and the omega is only the masculine energy, it's not. The alpha is the masculine, the omega is the feminine. The omega is the Holy Spirit, and the masculine, the alpha, is actually the masculine energy. So it's like, and this is why the sun is the masculine and the moon is the feminine. This is why the darkness, which is the feminine energy that was holding the egg before the time, actually was able to create life. And that's when light intertwined with darkness. You see how this all intertwines and how it makes up energy and polarity and how it makes up who we are, because in the beginning of times we needed the darkness in order to make a light. And within all these, with these two polarities, end up making the whole entire universe, birthing all the planets, the solar system, birthing the earth, birthing the creatures, birthing all of this, and kept reconstructing, constructing, and getting to a point of making us. So you see that polarity makes up everything, and we have it all within each and every individual and ourselves. And so this is how to understand what makes up energy. So you guys, I highly suggest get this book. My golly, I just literally started and I'm already on like page, what was it, chapter 3, get realer. Yo, didn't I say in the beginning about it, get real? You can't make this shit up. And number 3 is actually the alignment with the actual cosmic universe, meaning the mind, body, and soul. Ooh, man, what was it? The God, they even said in the Bible, the God, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Man, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you can't. So I love it. Even in this chapter, it says logic versus intuition. Like, let me read this before I let you guys go. So, equal plus opposite. But they want me to go to masculine and feminine energetics. And that is, the feminine is by nature intuitive and emotional. The feminine is about feeling and flowing and merging and connecting and relating. Masculine energy, on the other hand, is about structure and placement and task. It's about patterns and regimen and routine. Masculine is about doing and fixing and achieving and accomplishing stuff. The feminine, which is by nature unconstructive, it's meant to be harmonized by the direct orientation of the masculine. Notice I said harmonized by, not dominated by. The masculine has long dominated the feminine by incorrectly equating emotion with weakness and intuition with nonsense. In devaluing these qualities, both men and women have suffered, as has society and earth itself. You see what I'm saying? So when the masculine and the feminine are in sync, they complement each other in a beautiful symbiosis, meaning that how the earth intertwines with the sun, how the moon doesn't care if the sun is shining bright. It's going to come out when it comes out. And the sun doesn't care if it's shining bright, or it doesn't care if we care about it shining bright. It's going to do its thing. So we already see how these polarities help each other, but we have twisted it and forgot about it. So where was I at? But when the ordered problem-solving nature of the masculine is not balanced by the expanded emotional perspective of the feminine, both become distorted. Hence, that distortion is creating distortion within the connection with each other as humans. So while women tend to embody mostly feminine energy and men tend to embody more masculine energy, we all carry masculine and feminine energetics inside us. Therefore, when I say masculine and feminine, I'm referencing not just men and women, but I'm also speaking to the natural polarity distinctions that determine how we perceive and engage reality. When men and women are relating to one another from masculine and feminine energies that are balanced, they bring out each other's strengths and amplify them. The same goes for the world. When we as a collective bring the masculine and the feminine energetics informing our politics and our culture and our education and our environment and our economies and our everything into balance, that's when we will find ourselves thriving on pop rock planets in a giant age for all. Meaning, I feel what he's saying is that we can live in such a thriving world to the point that magic exists and it's allowed, but also we can construct from a balanced way where it's harmonious to everyone, not in a state of greed, not in a state of selfishness, not in a state of manipulation, hence the toxic masculinity. So that's what I wanted to share from this book. So I highly suggest to get this book, you guys. You don't need to be a shaman. You don't need to be trying to enhance your abilities. This is actually meant for people who actually want to heal and understand the shamanic keys to reclaiming your personal power, transform yourself, and light up the world. So I highly suggest getting this book. He is actually a really great person. I love listening to him. Follow him on Instagram. Incredible person. He's a real ass motherfucker. So I give him that. So other than that, you beautiful beings, that's all I wanted to share with you to help you understand the purpose behind energy and why polarity is so important and how it affects us as individuals, our relationships, and how it's affecting the world today. So other than that, you beautiful beings, I really hope this brought some clarity, some activations within you. If it did, if you enjoyed it, if it did help, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. If you want to know any of my business inquiries, I have a one-on-one session with me. All information is down in the description box below. But you guys, I love you so much. And I'll see you on the next one. Only love and namaste.